Namaste. My name is Romarishi.
And my name is Tara.
Welcome to our podcast, Wisdom of the Mystic Masters, Siddhas, Saints, and Sages throughout the ages. Tara and I have created this podcast because we believe passionately that the most pressing problem facing humanity is to raise the consciousness of humanity. We're all very aware that there are huge problems facing humanity. Problems like global warming, running out of clean water, running out of food for millions of people, anger, hatred, war, terrorism, and pandemics. But Tara and I believe that the solution to all of these problems is to raise the consciousness of humanity. You know, when you're in a low level of consciousness, your awareness is very restricted. You don't see the big picture. You're not very clear mentally. You're not very intelligent. You're not very compassionate or loving. But when you're in a higher state of consciousness, you see the big picture. You're more intelligent. You're more creative. And you're also more compassionate and more loving. So that is why Tara and I have dedicated our entire adult lives to doing whatever we can to assist in raising the consciousness of humanity.
Now I'd like to tell you a little bit about ourselves. We are international spiritual teachers, and we started on the spiritual path when we were 16 years old. Even though we didn't know each other at the time, we both started then. And since then, we've had many great spiritual masters that we've studied with. Some of them are famous, and some of them you may also even know. We've also had the great good fortune to serve them and even live with some of them.
Right. It was a real blessing in our life. And our spiritual approach is universal. We respect and we love all enlightened masters from all traditions. We're not just promoting one teacher or one path. You could say we're universalists. We love all the masters, all great enlightened masters from all traditions. They could be Hindu, they could be Buddhist, Taoist, Sufi, Tibetan Buddhist, Zen Buddhist, Christian, Jewish. We love all the enlightened masters. You know, when I was younger, I had a particular teacher when I was younger, and I really felt that that was the best path in the entire world, and that everyone in the world should practice that. But then I started to meet people who they had other teachers, and they were on other paths, and they were as devoted to their path and their teacher as I was to mine. And that was a turning point in my life. I became more universal in my spiritual approach, and I came to respect and love all the enlightened masters of all traditions.
As the ancient saying goes, the truth is one, but the paths are many, and there's many ways to go up the mountain. You might want to take the gradual path and go slowly, or you want to rock climb right up the cliff to the very top. It just really depends on you as an individual, the path you choose.
That's right. There are many paths for many different kinds of people. So at a certain point, after Tara and I had already been teachers for 30 years, we had already taught over 1,000 people meditation. We also had started Dharma centers and had been leading retreats. We decided that it was time for us to move to India. Not just visit India, not just go for a few months and travel around and see the Taj Mahal, Actually, we stayed 7 years, and we never once went to the Taj Mahal. Our interest was not tourism. Our interest was actually to make a pilgrimage, a spiritual pilgrimage. And we focused mainly on studying the lives of great saints. Not only great saints, but Siddhas saints, and specifically Siddhas. This is what we were doing for 7 years.
Now you might ask, what is a Siddha? A Siddha in English is spelled Siddha. Now in Sanskrit, Siddha, it means a perfected one who has attained the perfection of consciousness. Now, Siddhas often perform siddhis. Siddhis is spelled Siddhis. The siddhis are the supernormal powers or abilities, but they are actually not really supernormal if you attain the perfection of consciousness. They are normal abilities.
Right. And some people call these the miracle powers. And, in the West, when you hear the word, most people, when they hear the name or the word miracles, who do they think about? They immediately think about Jesus Christ, because it's a well-known fact in our culture that Jesus performed many miracles. These were siddhis. They were, there were so many. One was that he walked on water, or that he fed multitudes of people with just a small amount of food, a few loaves of bread and a few fish, but he was able to feed multitudes. Also, he turned water into wine, and he restored the eyesight to a blind man. And probably this is the most impressive one, he brought Lazarus back from the dead. So people in the West are well aware of those miracles, but very few people in the West are aware of the fact that in the East, in India and in China and in other countries, there were great masters. Some of them lived high in the Himalayas, who performed all those same miracles. It's well documented. There are many books that describe the miracles that these great saints in India and in other countries performed. There are many, many saints who fed multitudes. There are many saints who brought people back from the dead, or who could manifest objects or food. There are many saints who could do things like walk on water or even fly through the air. There is a long, long ancient tradition of thousands of years of great siddhas in the East performing these miracles. Now, those miracles are really the normal abilities of a person who's using the full potential of their consciousness. Let's think about it in terms of the car analogy. Let's say that there are cars all over the world. In fact, every single car in the world is operating using only one cylinder. Well, those cars would not run very well, would they? They'd run very poorly. And that is like humanity. Humanity is operating using only a small amount of their full mental potential. Have you heard that saying that psychologists say? That the average person is only using about 5 to 10% of their full mental potential. So that's very substandard, and that's why there's so many problems in the world. Well, what if someone came along and said, hey, I know how to get more of those cylinders working in your car. I could get more of them, maybe all of them working. And you'd go, really? You can do that? Please do it. And then he got 2 cylinders working, then 3, and then eventually 6 or 8, depending on how many cylinders the car had. Maybe if it was a Jaguar, he'd get 12 cylinders running. And now that car would run smoothly. It could do things that it couldn't do before. It would have more pickup, and it would have a faster top speed. And that is like humanity when humanity is using the full potential of consciousness. So these siddhis or miracle abilities are not supernormal at all. They are actually the normal abilities when a person is using the full potential of human consciousness.
Now, you may have heard of Shirdi Sai Baba. Shirdi Sai Baba is considered one of the greatest saints in from modern day India. He was born in the 1800s, and he was told by his teacher to go to the town of Shirdi and to stay there. Well, when he first went there, he was very young, and people thought he was just a beggar living on the streets. So people even threw stones at him, tried to get him to leave town. They didn't want to feed him. And so he would stay on the outside of town. And one woman had compassion for him, and she actually saw his depth of knowledge, and she would go outside of town and feed him. Then one day a plague came to the town, and it was devastating. And Shirdi Sai Baba was able to stop the plague, and people were amazed. And from then on, they realized that he had great powers and great knowledge. He was amazing Siddha.
Right, when he first came there, they made a pact. Let's not feed him. He's just a dirty beggar. And they made a pact. All the people in the town agreed, we're not going to feed him. Because if we feed him, he'll stay. And we don't want him to stay in our town. They didn't have the awareness to recognize that he was a great saint. But that woman who fed him did. And then when he rid the town of the plague, they realized, oh my God, this guy that we've been refusing to feed and that we've been throwing stones at, he is a Siddha. He has miracle abilities. So the Siddhas, this is an interesting point that I really can't leave out. When he performed that first miracle, the Muslims ran to him and said, oh, you must be a Muslim saint. And he said, no, I respect all religions, but I'm not only one religion. My religion is love. And then the Hindus, when they heard that he said he wasn't a Muslim saint, the Hindus came running. And they said, oh, we heard that you said you're not a Muslim saint, so then you must be a Hindu saint, right? And he said, no, I respect all religions, but I'm not only one religion. My religion is love. And that is Tara and my view also. We respect Buddhism, we respect Hinduism, Taoism, all the religions of the world. But we're not only one. Our religion is love. So the Siddhas are the true superheroes of humanity. You know, these days, it's very popular that people go to movies and they like to see movies about the Avengers or all of these superheroes. But those superheroes are fictional. In case you didn't know, some people might believe they're real, but no, they're made up. They're fictional superheroes. But there are, right, real superheroes of humanity. And they are the people who succeeded in developing the full potential of human consciousness. They evolved their consciousness to its pinnacle of self-realization, God-realization, enlightenment. They are the superheroes. And if we want to raise the consciousness of humanity, which is vital, absolutely vital, Tara and I believe that it's essential that humanity rises to a higher level of consciousness for the survival of humanity. It's vital. It's not something like, oh yeah, that would be nice. No, it's vital. We have to raise the consciousness of humanity. So many of our problems, so much suffering in the world for countless eons has been due to humanity being at a very low level of consciousness. So any time in life that you want to accomplish something and you want to learn how to do it, who do you go to? You go to an expert. And the Siddhas, these great saints and sages, are the experts in how to raise the consciousness of humanity. And that's why Tara and I have dedicated our entire lives to sharing this information with people all over the world. When we came back from India, we decided that we were going to conduct seminars. We were going to do a tour of the United States. We came back without a car. We only had $80 to our name. We had been living in India for years and years. And we decided, Tara and I said, let's do a tour of the United States and teach people about these great saints. And so we did. And on that first tour, we gave 150 free seminars all over America. And then we did a second tour and a third tour. And in all, we have given over 600 free seminars called Secrets of the Siddhas, Health, Longevity, and Enlightenment. And then we also did a tour of Southeast Asia, and we taught in Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Shanghai. And when we gave all these seminars, people would follow us on Facebook. We have about 5,000 friends on Facebook. And so many people said, you know, I really would like to go to one of your events. I'd like to attend one of your seminars, but I can't come to America. Would you come to my country? And we were invited to go to Australia. Virtually every country in Europe has invited us. Also, even Tehran. Someone in Tehran said, would you come to Tehran? I can set up a lecture in my living room. At first we thought, will we get in trouble teaching people about Hindus and Buddhists and whatever in Tehran? Maybe the government or the church there will not like the fact that we're doing that. And Tara thought, maybe we'll wind up in jail. So this man said, no, it'll be private. I won't advertise it. I'll just have it in my home and I'll invite my friends. So we've also been invited to go to countries in South America and all over Asia. And many people said to us, could you make your teachings available on the internet? And we said, yes, someday we will. Well, that time has come. That time is now. And that is why we've created this podcast. So in future episodes of this podcast, we will tell the stories of some of the greatest saints and sages in the history of the world from all different traditions. It won't just be stories about their lives, it will also be in the context of our travels all over India. Some of them you will know about, people like Ramakrishna, Ramana Maharshi, Shirdi Sai Baba, Yogananda. Some of them you will have never heard about, but their stories are as amazing as the ones that you know well. So Tara and I are very happy to be making this available to people all over the world. We welcome you. If you are interested in this, if what we've been talking about today interests you, be sure to like this video and also subscribe. because that will help us get the message out, but it will also make sure that you are notified as we put up more and more of these videos. I think you're going to love it. I know we're going to love creating them for you, and we welcome you and thank you for watching today. Namaste.